Welcome to Beauty Revealed, the podcast. I'm your host, Candace Claiborne, and it's time to take the steps to reveal your inner beauty. You no longer have to feel invisible because you are seen and known by the creator of all things. So let's get ready to leave your beauty mark on the world. We're about to go deep. So today, we're revealing what it's like to feel stuck. You know when you just feel frozen, like you're in a rut. You haven't been going at the same pace that you desire, and things just seem a little bit stopped. We all have these feelings sometimes, but today I want to take you through a moment of inventory. Let's reflect. Think about what may have happened that got you to this place of feeling really, really stuck and frozen. What we're going to talk about today might not feel very comfortable because, let's be honest, nobody likes to talk about being in a bad place. But the reality is we all experience this. Sometimes it's just a day, but it often turns into months, even years at times. And it's not something that you have to be ashamed about. We all experience it, so let's get ready to discover it. All right, guys. So when it comes to this feeling of being stuck, I have to be honest, I'm not a licensed therapist or counselor by any means. And I haven't myself experienced a lot of mental health disorders or issues, but I have been a helpful friend to those who have. And so today, most of what I'm sharing is primarily from my own personal experience and things I've observed in and around me over the last few years. Now, this feeling of being stuck or frozen, it can be one of the most annoying things because you know that you have more that you want to do. But for some reason, you just haven't been able to get there. So let's talk about it. When you go through this process, you realize that, hey, maybe there's some things I've been wanting to do and I haven't done it. Maybe there's an issue that I need to go ahead and address here. And I can say that for myself, I realize a lot of times it happens because I'm fearful. It happens because there may have been a traumatic incident that took place and I just kind of paused after it happened and didn't move forward to do anything differently. And for you, it might just be a life change. I'm a mom of 3 and a wife, and oftentimes there are things that I wanted to do that I haven't done, or things that I planned on doing that I just haven't gotten around to. And even though you might be going through the day-to-day routine, you can still feel like you're stuck. Everything else around you is moving and your physical body is moving, but what's the deeper inside of you has paused for some reason. And so think about what may have happened and why you might be finding yourself in that place. So if you think or realize that this feeling of being stuck is going on for a significantly longer amount of time than is usual for you to kind of get out of a funk, then it might be necessary for you to seek mental health and be able to find an advisor or a therapist that can actually walk you through this process. As you're going along and doing that, I highly recommend a couple of things. So what you're dealing with, what I've dealt with, is a measurement of time, right? We're looking at life around us and things are happening, but we feel like we're stopped. And so we're dealing with time. We're simply dealing with dreams and things that have been ideas big, ideas small, things that just haven't happened, but you desired for them to happen. And for some reason, you feel like you just couldn't make it go. Maybe it's not your intention for it to have taken this long. This wasn't the destination that you wanted to land at, but you found yourself feeling stuck. You feel paused. And along the way of processing, preparing, considering, strategizing, you fell into a place of paralysis of analysis. I know exactly what that feels like. I really was interested in starting one of those food delivery programs and getting it going for our family. My husband is all about systems and vision and thinking ahead. And I said, okay, cool. I found one that I actually like and one that I would love to do for our family. But it has taken me literally almost 2 years to actually subscribe and place the order. And I just did this a couple weeks ago. I got my first delivery and it was amazing. It took me less than 10 minutes to place the order. The meals came the following week and I like them and I'm going to keep buying them. But why did it take me so long to actually do that? Now, I got to be honest with you guys. I'm a little bit embarrassed to say that that's my example, But hey, everything that we experience in life, I think can be scalable. You know, nothing is too small and nothing is too big. This example is that, hey, this was a small decision, a literal decision to just order some food for your family, to create a system that would make things easier for me. And yet I hadn't done it until a few weeks ago. Now, small things show up in big things. So wherever you are in life, if you're experiencing something where you feel stuck and it feels like a small decision, we have to know that these are impacting longer lasting impressions on things that we do in the future. Nothing is too small. Nothing is too big. It is exactly where you are. So for me, it was the meal delivery. All that to say, you want to think about your perspective, right? You might have experienced fear, trauma, not knowing where to start, comparing things, all the answers. And sometimes we can think that our research and our preparation is doing the actual thing, but it's not. Like, let's not get it twisted. Just because I've spent time looking at stuff and researching and comparing things and looking at the budget and trying to plan things out, that is not a substitute for the actual thing getting done. I wasted time. I did other things instead. And for you, you might find yourself feeling like you're just stuck and you don't know why, right? But the reality is, if there was fear there, reasons that, you may not want to be honest about, a lot of times it's control too. We don't want to move forward with things because we don't have all the pieces in the puzzle. We don't know how it's all going to work out. And so we find ourselves like, oh my goodness, like, I want to do this thing. I want to go to this place. And so let me just learn some more. Let me just watch some more. And when we think about our culture and we look at social media, we look at all of the ways that we get to consume and we get to kind of create in our minds, but we don't move forward with actually getting things done because we spend so much time just taking it all in. And that can lead us to a place of real deep frustration. So today, I want to talk about how we're actually going to move forward. One of the things that I absolutely love is science. And I love Newton's first law of motion, right? And it states this, that if a body is at rest or moving at a constant speed in a straight line, it will remain at rest or keep moving in a straight line at a constant speed unless it is acted upon by force, okay? When something is in motion, it will stay in motion. But when something is frozen, it's unmoved, it will stay still until something else comes in and gives it that force. I don't know what that force needs to be for you, but I know for me, I was frustrated with trying to figure out what to cook for our family, realizing that I wasn't feeding myself, realizing that every single week became an issue because I'm trying to figure out groceries. And here is a simple solution for me, right? And so what do I do? Okay, do the one thing that you need to do to just take that next step forward. For you, it might be picking up the phone or sending that message. It might be sending an email to a person. It might mean having a very uncomfortable conversation that is going to actually open things up for you to move forward in a relationship. It might be sending, a message to somebody to talk about something that you've been meaning to discuss, but you just haven't done it yet. It might be putting together a plan for yourself, a schedule for yourself, writing things out the night before. There's so many life hacks that are available to us. And whatever it is, the purpose behind this law of inertia is to just start. Like literally just start. I'll tell you guys this, in the mornings when I want to roll over and I'm hitting that snooze for the third time and I remind myself, just start. Like the law of inertia says, just start moving and you will keep moving. Okay, so that means literally sitting up out of the bed, opening my eyes, taking in that deep breath, thanking the Creator for giving me life that day, and stepping out of the bed is literally the next step. That's all we have to do sometimes. I don't want to downplay when you found yourself to be in a rut for a really long time and you're struggling to figure out how to get out of it. But I do want to say that taking just a small step, that is exactly what it needs for you to start moving. That's that law of inertia. Once you get started, you're going to be in a mode that's going to say, okay, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to go to do the next thing, right? And so what does this have to do with you feeling stuck? The law of inertia, science, Newton's law. What does this have to do with me? If you're not moving forward with that business idea, you're not moving forward with the things that you want to do, you don't like your job, you want to move on to the next, we have to start somewhere. So in addition to the practical motion of getting up, writing things, sending messages, I want to encourage you to move spiritually as well. This is where the aspect of prayer and meditation comes in like a flood. Because if you're not connected to that higher source, you're not connected to the creator that's giving you the energy to do the things that you want to do, that's giving you the ideas, then you really are at a loss. And so for me, connecting and spending that time in prayer and meditation, visualizing, thinking about the things that I want to do, actually putting names to it and putting some type of thought and energy towards it makes a big difference. Really consulting with God and saying, what is it that you have for me and how can I move forward? And deciding like, okay, this is what I'm going to do right now. Even if I don't know how it's all going to work out, I don't know exactly the steps. I don't know who's going to come into the picture to help me get to that next place, but I'm going to do what I can do and I'm going to start. I'm going to allow that law of inertia, that motion, that forward movement to really help propel me forward. And just being faithful and just being obedient in that space can do so much to put you to that next level of elevation. So now that we've talked about how you may have gotten there and what it can feel like and what you might need to do to get moving, let's do some practical steps, okay? So reflection. I call this inventory, where you are really taking that time to think, to pause, to say, okay, where am I? So if you are going somewhere, you have to first know where you want to go. And then you have to orient yourself to where you currently are, right? If we're going on a road trip, I need to know where I am so I can put in the point A and the point B. So this first part of the process is that reflection period, that taking inventory, looking at how you might be feeling and how you got there, and then thinking about where it is that you desire to see yourself going next, right? So taking that time to pause and really think about what you're thinking about. So many times we just go through the day to day and we're not even processing. We're just like on autopilot. My husband says this all the time. When we're living a legacy, in order to do that, we have to live by design and not by default. So that means being intentional, thinking about what you're thinking about. And that can only happen when we take the time to pause, take the time to pray, take the time to write, journal, meditate, do something that allows you to actually have the space. I love hiking. We're living out here in Phoenix, Arizona, and there are so many mountains to hike, so many trails and things to just experience God and experience nature. And so being able to have that is just an awesome way to connect with God for me and for me to just clear my mind. And even at times when I'm not going out and away from the house, sometimes I'm just in the backyard and I'm just walking around and I'm just walking, like a track in the backyard, just praying and asking God to kind of show me where I am right now. Orient yourself, getting quiet, being really still. It's crazy to think about how uncomfortable we can feel with our own selves sometimes, like literally just being by yourself and being still. Especially when you're so used to going and busying yourselves with life, busying yourself with family, with work. That opportunity to actually pause and be still can be really sobering. But you'll be surprised at how much comes to you when you actually take the time to be quiet. So once you've taken some time to kind of be still, chill out a little bit, hear and figure out where you are, then decide what it is you really desire. You don't want to feel stuck, but where do you want to go? Just sitting in it and complaining about it is not going to do the trick. Like, you have to actually have intention. And a lot of times, myself included, where it feels like, what's the vision? What is it that you really want? And that requires thinking about it honestly and being honest with yourself and not holding back. Like, what are we afraid of, when we talk about saying what we actually want? Like, why do we hold back on that? So giving yourself the freedom and the space to be very honest with the things you desire is going to be key to getting you moving and to get that motion and that law of inertia going for you. So if you've reflected and taken some inventory, You've thought a little bit about what you want. You're hearing from the creator and getting that insight, following your intuition, really moving forward. And we'll talk about this on one of the upcoming episodes about intuition and what it looks like to really listen to that voice and actually make it like a real active thing for you. But following that intuition, right? And taking the step a little bit closer. And the last step is to tell somebody. Tell someone. Find that community. With Beauty Revealed, we call it the compliment crew. Who are the people that you can connect with, that you can actually be very honest with, and you can share something like, okay, this is what I'm about to do. You know, when I was getting ready to relaunch this podcast and go through this new season, I told a handful of people, this is what I'm getting ready to do. Keep me in your thoughts and prayers. Like, I'm excited. This is where we're going. And that's exactly what they've been able to do for me. Now, I realize that some people don't have a whole lot of friends in their lives, but you don't need a whole lot of people. You just need one, you know? And being able to talk to somebody and realize that people are available to you. You may think, okay, this person can't help me, or they don't have time, or they're busy. You know, like, I don't want to call her. She got 3 kids. She's already busy. Girl, call her, because you never know. She might be available. And if somebody isn't and they can't help you, then you call the next one. You know, just realizing that people are available to you. Sometimes we shut doors ourselves. Like we block things on our own because we're fearful or we think that somebody isn't able to help us. But when you develop that compliment crew, that's exactly what a crew does. They compliment you. They come alongside you. They support you. They encourage you. And this is exactly what I want and desire for every single person that's a part of the Beauty Revealed community, a part of the Beauty Revealed, just the space, is complimenting each other and helping each other out. So you've taken those steps, you've reflected, you've taken inventory, you've thought about what you want and desire, and you've realized, okay, this is what I need to do. My next step. After that, then just do it. Literally just do that one thing and move forward. And after that, just keep going. Do the next thing, do the next thing, do the next thing. And before you know it, you'll be on your way. I know it sounds sweet and easy, and we know that it's not as easy as we all make it out to be, but it literally is the same thing. Like, nobody is more extraordinary than another. Some people just follow the process. And when you follow the process, you get the results. And so I want to encourage you with that today, is just taking the steps that you need to take, following that law of inertia, trusting that instinct, and moving forward. Now, the Beauty Revealed is all about helping you to reveal your inner beauty. And so I want to see you do that. So be sure to comment below. Make sure you stay connected, because we want to leave our beauty mark on the world. Thanks, guys, so much for listening to today's podcast. I'll see you on the next episode.